Hello, friends, and welcome back to Uncle Robert Plays The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. So, for the next little while, at least for this one episode, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. First of all, here's your seed Y0M7XC6L, and it looks like there's a library right above us at the start. And we're playing as Blue Baby, obviously. Now, something I've been doing recently is sort of like video journaling, except I'm not posting those videos. And I know in the past I've discussed, I'm good. I've discussed like mental health issues and whatnot. But I'd like to actually make that sort of thing the focus of this video. Like, again, just basically like a video journal. And, except this time I'll actually post it. Mostly because it helps to talk it out. And, these are pretty solid. Okay, first I'm probably going to want to take that one. And, and then we're going to take the Book of Seeing. And instantly go down to one soul heart, make that two. Anyway, so as I was saying, it may take some effort for me to get this out, because it's really difficult for me to talk about these things. But I have found with the video journaling, it helps a lot more than, say, therapy or talking with friends, because I find it really hard to discuss these issues with other people. And hopefully this will lead to me being able to do that. Exactly that, to just have these difficult conversations with others and open up to others, which will ultimately be good for my mental health. Oh no, just go right here, Mr. Exploding Barrel. Okay. Well, so that happened, unfortunately. But that's okay. Anyway, so something I've been struggling a lot with is just this severe anxiety that just pops up out of nowhere. I have been getting sick a lot recently, as I may have mentioned in some of my previous videos. And this has also been leading to some, I guess, mental health problems, because I'm missing work. I'm feeling bad about missing work, going into this horrific downward spiral that makes it just really hard to get up in the morning and be motivated for doing anything or what have you. And so I figured I would just, at least for a while, discuss these issues I've been having in videos. Again, just to make it ultimately easier to just talk about in real life to real people. So anyway, yeah, so it's sort of like this paralyzing kind of weird existential fear almost. Oh dear. Fear of judgment when I talk to other people about this stuff. Fear of oh no. Just going outside and facing the world. This sort of helpless feeling that I'm unable to really face the world, and that's it's almost like a self-perpetuating thing. I'm so terrified of, going out and dealing with life that I end up not going out and dealing with life. And let's see, let me put this like right here. Should do it. Oh, yes. And I just I just need a moment because it's hard to get this stuff into words. it's ultimately just like basically an unhealthy coping strategy, really, more than anything. You know, childhood trauma and the like is basically what, I guess, where it comes from. I mean, that's not really... It sounds like an excuse. I mean, you may not be thinking of it as, oh, it's an excuse, but in my mind, in my head, that's kind of what it comes across as to me. And so that's like a big part of the proverbial struggle for me, at any rate. Just being able to, you know, get over feelings of worthlessness, learn to not let them really hurt me all that much. And this is definitely an interesting boss room. Oh god, I don't even know how to continue this. It was so clear in my mind earlier today. I went out for a walk, and it's like I knew exactly what I wanted to say, how I wanted to word things, and well, I can take this. That's good. And oh, this is really hard to talk about. Yow. And I just, whoa. Oh, okay. And I guess wow, this is a lot tougher than I thought it would be, so please just bear with me. Oh, what the heck? Was I firing diagonally for a second there? Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I don't really... It's difficult, because, I mean, even though I'm not talking to a person, I'm just talking to a screen, and I'm not... My face isn't even on the screen. It's still difficult to get it out, to find the words. It's like there's this mental block. This, part of me that just does not want to discuss these and wants to avoid discussion of them at all costs. You know, essentially just, it's an unhealthy avoidance coping strategy, basically. And I mean, that much is definitely obvious to me. Oof. Thank you, Host Hat, for swallowing that. That's just, I'm consumed by this sort of almost paralyzing... It's not even really a fear anymore. It's like it's just this uncomfortable truth that I just don't have what it takes to live in the world, be a productive member of society, you know, whatever you want to call it. And I just want to just constantly hide from everything. And that is, of course, like a super... Oh. Unhealthy perspective and way of looking at things. And ultimately self-destructive. Yeah, sure, I'll open this, why not? But for me, it's, I guess in a way, you know, my horribly traumatized lizard brain sees it as a sort of, oh, for lack of a better term, survival mechanism. Something to keep me alive and safe. I don't think I actually want the starter deck, so I'm not going to take it. Excuse me. Yeah, sorry, I'm just sort of trying to gather my thoughts a little bit. But the way that I would typically describe the sensation is just, you know, feeling like I'm afraid of everything. Even though I'm not really afraid of everything, but what am I afraid of? I guess I'm afraid of taking certain risks, you know, of opening up, of really doing anything. There's always, it's not just a fear of failure, it's like a fear of futility. Like everything that I do, every attempt I make to change is ultimately not going to be, it's either going to be ineffective or it might have the opposite effect. This is something that I'm, well, currently struggling with, and I guess you could say I've struggled with my entire life. Although it hasn't really become a major issue until recently. Oh, right on the key. I do not know what any of these pills are. Gotta take your medication. Well, that was probably the least useful one. Oh, there's the key. I guess I can go to the shop now. But, yeah, essentially a big part of it is just, like, I probably should have bought a key now that I think about it. But yeah, a big part of it is just, it's almost like I don't want anything, which, it sounds bad, like, oh, you don't want to be happy or what have you. Well, maybe I don't deserve it. And I know that's a terrible thing to say. And I've been told many times that I do deserve it, but it's really hard to, sometimes it's really hard to believe that. You know, to let myself believe that, to take the steps to, I guess, the trap that I'm falling into is that it's easier to not try than to try and fail, or at least I tell myself that's easier, or that's preferable, because, you know, maybe I just can't handle failure. And it's not that I can't handle failure, like I've failed many times before. Maybe I'm just feel like I'm a big disappointment to myself and to the world. That is how it feels a lot of the time, honestly. How did I miss? That I'm just tired of disappointing people. So, you know, I tell lies a lot. Like, I'll lie about what's bothering me or whether or not anything's bothering me in the first place, because You know, I don't want people to worry. I don't want... I'm afraid of being judged. I'm afraid of harming others by making them worry about me and my nonsense. And obviously the bad side to that is, well, okay, that I'm not really getting the help that I really need. Mostly because I'm not asking for help. I'm not really reaching out. I can't afford any of this. Curses foiled again. Almost have enough for a key though, so I got that going for me, which is nice. Ah, get in there. But, I mean, this I guess is... Oh. I kind of want to say this is the crux of the issue, but I mean, is it really? Like, in many ways, like, I have come up with an action plan. Like, I know this seems very disjointed and stream of consciousness, but again, it's not really something I'm really used to doing, but I really do want to be completely open and honest about how I feel. And this, I think, is a good way to start doing that. So... You know, that's why it's going to take a little bit for me to get used to this. Ow. I should have paid more attention to that guy, to Mr. Skullhead. I don't really need the red candle, and honestly, I'm starting to wonder why I even bought it. But yeah, I basically just start out with a really defeatist attitude in life. And that is, it's not working for me. I mean, it is. I guess it's keeping me safe in a way, but it's doing so at the expense of, well, pretty much the rest of my life. You know, anything else that I could achieve or accomplish. And this is why I've been very, this is one of the reasons why I actually sat down with Peanut and made a action plan, so to speak. Just mostly things, little things I can do, adjustments to a daily routine that will allow me to effectively, you know, turn my life around. Small things, small steps. And this actually, this sort of video journaling is one of those steps. Oh. Because at the very least, it's going to get me used to talking, you know? I don't want to go in there. Ooh, don't want to step on those. And, if I'm able to, you know, get used to talking, then, you know, maybe I can open up and do the whole therapy thing. Oh my goodness. How did you survive that, friend? Ooh, you got me there. M2. Okay. I don't really want either one of those. So let's get out of here. I think ultimately what it all, you know, really kind of boils down to is, am I willing to do the work? I mean, that's the thing. I don't actually know if I am willing to do that uncomfortable work of self-reflection, figuring out what the actual problem is and dealing with it, as opposed to treating mere symptoms. But I mean, you got to start somewhere. You got to start with treating the symptoms, and this sort of whole daily routine thing can definitely be helpful in that regard. And, you know, yeah, I really hope it is helpful in that regard, that respect. If it's not, then, you know, I guess it can't hurt to try. I mean, I'm probably going to continue this sort of thing, and I hope I gradually get better at it. And by this sort of thing, I mean these, you know, sort of pseudo vlogs. I don't actually need the red candle at all. I mean, it's been helpful at least when I remember to use it. But yeah, that is, I guess, essentially it. I'm just trying to figure out ways of changing the way I look at things, you know, build strong habits that will allow me to, you know, put myself in a position where I can live a better life. And yeah, before you ask, I am on medication and I have been taking it. And it is helping. I mean, there is that, at least. So, I got that going for me, which is nice. I guess I'll take sad bombs. Uh-oh. Oh, wow, that didn't even hit you. But that did. So, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it's up to me to just do the work. And I guess, you know, I'm afraid of doing the work. And there's a couple of things that come to mind when, you know, I think about why would I be afraid of doing this necessary work to get better. And obviously, yes, there's a fear of failure. There's a fear of futility, which is something that's plagued me for years, decades, maybe even my entire life. But have I been to the item room yet? I think I have. Yes, I have. And there's another fear. Something that I don't necessarily talk about. I don't think I've ever really said it out loud even, but I have thought about it. And that's the fear of success. Ooh. And that seems a little strange at first when you think about it. Like, why would you be afraid to get better? Well, there's a couple of reasons. First off, there is the feeling that I guess I'll know that I've basically wasted my whole life up until this point. Oh, that's kind of not what I wanted, but you know what? That's okay. I lost the air rune, but that's okay. Because now we are definitely on schedule for the Hush fight, so there's that. Ooh. So, you know what? Yeah, that is good. We're not going to go back for the air rune. We're just going to get out of here. Yeah, there's a couple of reasons. One, yes, there is that sort of pseudo fear of failure. Oh, wait. No, that's not right. The fear of success is what I was talking about. And the reason that's, you know, a big issue for me is... Whoa. One, yes, I'll have this realization that there's all this time that I wasted when I could have been, you know, being productive. There's the fear that, sort of like the imposter syndrome kind of thing, where I'm like, will I be able to even keep this up? Will it be real? And the worst part, like, the hardest part for me anyway, is the notion that, I don't know what this is, but I guess I'll take it. Oh, I wish I hadn't taken that, but that's okay. Hopefully it doesn't completely annihilate the run. But, the fear that I will change and I won't be me anymore. And I've been this way for so long. This is like practically a core part of my identity in a way. And wait, I have explosion immunity. What am I worried about Bob's brain for? But yeah, it's like if I'm not, it comes with I guess identifying too strongly with one's mental illness, which is definitely not only a risk, but also like a really unhealthy mindset, because what ends up happening is you end up just seeing yourself as your disease, and you become in a way resistant to treatment because you don't want to lose yourself. You have this identity that you built up over so long, over so many years, like your entire life in some cases even. And if there's one thing that people cling to, it's their identities. And that's, and some identities, I guess, are just, they're not worth clinging to. And like this one in particular, because it's holding me back. It's, you know, effectively stopping me from living anything even remotely resembling a normal life. And that is definitely the last kind of identity you want to have. And, you know, it's important for me to recognize these things. These unhealthy behaviors, coping strategies, ideas in myself that I cling to them because they're basically who I am, really. I'll take this. Razor blade, no thanks, don't really need it. And having this be such a huge part of my personality, and, you know, essentially being afraid to just let it go. You know, like the Frozen song. This is, it works. This is... Okay, that's really not helpful, but whatever. I guess for lack of a better term, it basically just ruins everything. I kind of want both of these items, the gift and the champion belt, because Lord knows I don't have nearly enough damage and items. I mean, I am about to fight Hush, so... How deep can I go before the donation machine says no more? About that deep, it seems. Wow, that's I mean, that's not bad. That's actually potentially very helpful. Okay, and here we go. But yeah, this has been an issue for me for as long as I can remember, but it's recently that it's really started interfering with my life. You know, my ability to hold down a job, to maintain relationships, to basically engage in any kind of self-care, you know, everything from eating to sleeping to personal hygiene to doing anything that's not basically a distraction from my life. I think that's, at least in some way, one of the reasons why I started this channel to begin with, because I just wanted another distraction. I just couldn't, you know, like, I mean, I've said this already, but I just didn't feel like I had what it takes, you know, to live a normal life, to be a normal person, to do these things. It's also one of the reasons why I tend to get so bummed whenever I have Isaac episodes that don't go too well. And, you know, it's just this super unhealthy spiral. Yeah, right now it just sounds like I'm basically just whining, but like I said, this is just sort of like an introductory episode to these issues and to, you know, getting me used to talking about them. I still, like, a part of me might still chicken out and not publish this video, but I think, you know, it could be a useful part of the therapy process. I mean, even Peanut mentioned something really interesting that, you know, even if you're not comfortable talking to a therapist, you can't open up to them, which is definitely an issue that I have. Because, I mean, therapists are people too, and I can't get over the fact that, yeah, these are people. Talking to people is not something that I can really bring myself to do. So even though it is their job to be impartial, not necessarily to validate, you know, all of every emotion I have, but to just provide an environment where I can, I guess for lack of a better term, safely have these feelings and safely talk about them without fear of judgment or persecution. And it is important to have an environment like that in your life. Especially when you're in any kind of when you're trying to recover from any kind of mental health issue. You know, having someone that you can have these conversations with is really helpful and really important. And, you know, it's, like I've said a million times over the course of this video, that's the entire point of this, you know, to get used to just talking about this stuff openly and honestly. Assuming, of course, I can even find the words to do so. Because, again, sometimes it's a little hard doing that. Where's that ghost? Just talking, even if I'm not talking to anyone. This is one of the reasons why just regular journaling has not really been that helpful for me. Because again, I don't know how to put things into writing. And when it comes to writing and just, I guess, creative endeavors in general, but mostly writing, I find it just really tough to put things into words, or even to just, you know, write something terrible, something crappy, and just to get it out. And because of that, actual journaling has proven not particularly helpful or effective for me. So this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this, because here I have to say it. I mean, I can sit around all day trying to figure out the perfect words, or I can just blurt it out. And blurting it out does actually kind of work for me, strangely enough. I mean, I guess it's not that strange. Ooh, nice hit, buddy. But yeah, again, we'll treat this episode as I'm just trying to gather my thoughts, and I guess the next one will be, I guess, the bigger deal, so to speak. Or, you know what, however many it takes, really. Oh yes, and something I was actually talking about but forgot to go into detail about was a conversation I was having with Peanut about. She said that if you have difficulty talking to a therapist, just tell them to watch these videos. You know, just post them up, and let it function as a journaling perspective. Although, honestly, I don't know if a therapist would really want to go for that because, I mean, at the end of the day, they're there to help you discuss your issues. And while stuff like this may be helpful initially, I guess in the end, they might see it as harmful in a way, you know? Like, oh, whoops, I should have paid attention to that. I didn't, but I should have. Okay, have I been in? I have been in here. And, this is not the room I want. Just another dead end. And it gets, I mean, I will admit, it does feel kind of a little bit better talking about it, like, here and now. But again, like, I feel like I'm not adequately expressing myself. You know, there's this, sort of mental block that it makes me unable to say what's, you know, really on my mind and how I'm feeling. Or alternatively, it just makes it really hard for me to put into words when the time comes. I don't know what I need all these keys for, but I guess might as well be thorough. I mean, why not, right? Well, I guess I'll never need another key again. Sure, I'll take these. Why not? What the heck? Just... Oh, that's interesting. Alright, well... Well, this could end badly. There is that distinct possibility, because I don't really have a lot of health, but it's like whatever. Oh, wow. Oh, he just ran into that. I'm very happy that he just ran into that. Where are you? Oh, no. So I'm trying to concentrate a little bit because I'm really close to dying, and I prefer not happen. Well, at least the mom's foot stomps won't hurt me, because explosions don't hurt me. So I got that going for me, which is nice. Oh, there's that. Not sure what I just picked up there. Oh, it's just... he turned into Isaac. That's what made that noise. But yeah, I know that this has been a bit of, how do I put this? Disjointed and difficult to follow. I mean, it has been for me, too, let's be honest here. But, I mean, this is just, you know, part of, I guess... you know, one of many of these videos that I plan on making. And hopefully it ends up working out. Ooh, that was a close one. Where are you? Uh-oh. Here's where it gets ugly. Or maybe not. Well, that was interesting. Who'd have thought that just not really focusing on the game at all could result in that? Anyway, thanks for watching. If you did, if you decided that you didn't want to watch the entire episode of me griping and whining, that's totally cool. If you did, I just want to say thanks for listening. I'm Uncle Robber, and you guys are all awesome, good people who deserve to be happy. I'll see you guys next time.